Hi everyone, welcome back into the Fruit Basket. My name is Fruitsies, and today we're going to be doing a deck review as well as a deck comparison of the Dark Mansion Tarot. So let's get started. The Dark Mansions deck is a deck that has a very unique art style that I felt really attracted to when I first saw it. In fact, I actually came in contact with it while looking at Reddit, and somebody shared how much they ended up liking this deck. Ended up sharing some pictures on it, and I had no idea this company, Toreka, even existed, and which I will link into the description in case you're interested in learning more about this deck and any upcoming decks that they're coming from. This company is based in Poland, and with this specific art style of the deck is very much like a Tim Burton as it has been described so far in terms of its artwork. And to me, when I first started looking at it, it just felt very easy to pick up on some of the cards. I do feel like there are certain cards that with the artwork that is interpreted there is very unique. It goes a little bit beyond of what we will see in a normal red or white deck, and I'll go over to some of the cards that stuck out to me in regards to that. Just to go over this, we have the limited edition deck, which comes in this wooden box, and we'll go and open it together. And then I also got the standard edition deck, which is this one right here. So we have the limited edition, which comes in this wooden box, and we have the standard edition, which is just a regular standard size tarot deck that just comes in this very beautiful gold gilded on the words and on some of the stuff that we have here, which is a normal standard size. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a walkthrough of all the cards, and as well as noting some comparisons between these decks, some of the artwork, because it comes in with an additional Sun and Moon card in the limited edition, and also how it compares to maybe some other cards or some other decks that I have used in the past. The first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go through the standard edition first, which is this one right here. It comes in a very nice box. Like I mentioned earlier, it does come with the golded wording that we have here, as well as the suits with the pentacle, cups, swords, and staffs. And then when you open it, it just comes in like this, where you can open it here on the side. With this particular deck, we have like a little bit of an introduction, as well as the deck that comes with it. With a little introduction, it says, "The Dark Mansion Tarot, Regular Edition. We were creating this tarot deck for 2.5 years, devoting our heart and mind to it. We hope that you will love it as much as we do." And then it just gives credits to the graphic artist, production, and substantive consultations, and the all rights reserved to Toreka Studios. And then from what we have here in the deck, I'm just gonna pull out the cards. We have here where we have the Toreka Studio brand, as well as the name of the deck, which is the Dark Tarot. It comes in with this very sleek black edge to it, just to kind of add a little bit of more elegance to it. And it ties into kind of the border of what comes in with the cards as well. And in the back, we have this sun with moon and with the clouds around it, which I really love this back. This back felt very like we're gonna jump into the unknown. We're gonna jump into seeing what's going around, what are the energies that are at work. So I feel like this is a really, really good back, and I was really attracted to this particular standard deck over the limited edition, was mostly because I felt like the black edge was just gonna be really beautiful, really sleek, and I was more drawn into this kind of a back for what I will interpret, what I will want to use a tarot deck for. It comes in with this little guard thing, which I'm probably gonna be using. And then for this first card with the Toreka, it just has the back here, and as well as the Dark Mansions, like I mentioned earlier. And then we go right into all the cards that are comprised in this particular deck. The difference between this particular deck that we have here, I'll just put this away for now, and for what we have in our limited edition Dark Mansions Tarot, just as a heads up, I do know they're currently sold out of these, so there's no more limited editions anymore. So I feel very lucky at the fact that I got my hands on one. And when we open it, we have this little pouch that comes with it that has the Dark Mansions. It's supposed to be more of like a silky kind of texture to it. It just feels very nice and smooth. And then it just comes in with these little strings to just kind of keep it nice and compact. The box itself, it looks really big right here on camera, but it's just big enough to fit in just your one deck and nothing else. And then if you want to put in some crystals here to kind of go and tie it in with the box, just to kind of keep some good energies, things like that, with my quartz and my citrine, you can put them in here. But there's not really a lot of space for anything else happening in this particular box. So just be very mindful of that in terms of the size that we're looking at here. And so when I pull out this deck, we're gonna close out the box. It comes in with this little lock, just very simple, and it's supposed to be from a handcrafted wood. So we can see a little bit just kind of like of the wood material that we have here going on, and the way that it has been put together. And it does have the Dark Mansion on the top written here, which means that we exactly know what deck is gonna come inside. In here with this little pouch, we're gonna see that it has the deck that it comes with. Inside it has that silky smooth kind of texture compared to the outside, which is more of a velvet feel. And then when we pull out, this is my first time pulling out the cards from here. The first thing that we see here is our certificate of authenticity, just to know that this is an authentic limited edition deck. There are only 500 of them printed, and I believe they're all sold out now. So there's only 500 of these limited editions in circulation, and then there is no more beyond that. So this is to kind of have that proof of what you have here, which says congratulations, you are the owner one of the 500 issued decks of the Dark Mansion Tarot limited edition. The number of your copy is 462 out of 500. And so we have the certificate of authenticity, and then we have this top card that we have here, similar to how we have in the standard, which is this right here, which is the Tareka Studios, the Dark Mansions Tarot. So as we notice, just from the regular size, just comparing the normal deck size, if we were to compare this to a normal tarot card, from what I have here, this is from my Mystical Manga Tarot. We have here that the edges are just a little bit longer from the standard. So we have a little bit of width and a little bit of length on the top of height. But it's not bad. To be honest, just even trying to shuffle the cards just feels really nice. I don't see myself having any problems with it. The one thing that I was a little bit hesitant in even getting the limited edition is because the card size are going to be much larger. Because if we compare these two right here, we have a considerable amount of width and a considerable amount of length. So I know that some people who really love the limited edition and the size that this comes in is the fact that those that are, need something more vision friendly, because of problems with eyes, age, things like that. They really appreciate how much bigger this deck is, on how much easier it is to read for them. But that was like my one hesitation in getting the limited edition, was how easy was it going to be for me? I don't have big hands, but of shuffling this kind of a deck, considering this is a lot of extra width and a lot of extra height in here. And if we were to compare that to our normal standard size tarot card that we have here, then we see we have, we not only have that extra little bit from the standard edition, but then we have all this extra space here as well. But as we do readings today, then we'll kind of feel it out and kind of seeing if it's really a bother or if it's not. And so the difference, kind of what I was mentioning between the standard and the limited edition, and I'll put these side by side as well, is we have a different back altogether for these, where the standard edition has this blue kind of a background, where it just feels a little bit more mystical, a little bit more mystery to it, with the sun and the stars and the clouds around it. Whereas the limited edition just has a really nice blue gem in the middle with a very crafted wooden work around it. So I think it just comes in with whatever the preference is. And then with both decks, we have here is that the limited edition does come in with a golden edge that we have here on the cards, whereas the one from the standard edition just comes in with the black instead. So it depends on kind of what your flavor is of what you like, whether it's the black, the dark one, or if it's the golden one. I'm familiar with the golden one because that's what I use for my The Threads of Fate tarot. So I kind of know how nice and like high end it feels. But I think I prefer the black one just because it looks a lot more sleek and doesn't have a whole lot of fuzz, but it still has that very low key kind of elegance to it. And so now we're gonna go through each of the cards that we have here on the deck. Just do a general walkthrough of all the cards that contain, going from the major arcana all the way down to each individual suit. And we'll just kind of walk through those together. So what we have here is, first we have the Fool, then we have the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, and then we have the Hierophant. We have the Lovers. So particularly with the Lovers, what part that stands out to me is that with most traditional decks, or when we look at the Lovers, we usually have the two people coming together, and as well as the thing that kind of binds them together, usually represented by an angel. But with this particular reading is that we have a snake on the top, and as well as we have this extra third person, which I know that in the Devil card is supposed to be the complete opposite of the Lovers card. So I like the interpretation that this particular deck is taking into the Lovers, where it's also adding the Devil factor in the background of maybe what could be at work. So I'll be really interested to see if maybe this kind of artwork sticks out to me, even when I do like a Lovers card where I see it in a reading. The Chariot, the Strength, I really like this one. I like the artwork that's represented in this one. It's really, really cute. We have the Hermit. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which I really, really love because it has a representation of a carnival with the wheel itself with the 4 elements, and it's almost depicted in a Ferris wheel kind of a way. So I really like the take that they did with this particular card. That really stood out to me. Then we have the Justice. We have the Hangman, which I thought was super cute because you have a vampire hanging upside down, which I thought was super nice. The Death card, which he looks kind of bored, but kind of fun just thinking about it. We have Temperance. Then we have the Devil. Then from the Devil, we have the Tower, the Star. We have the Moon. Now this one is interesting because her head is like the shape of the moon, while still having all the different elements of what the moon card would normally represent. So I found that very interesting. I liked it. We have the Sun. We have Judgment, which I thought was very comical and taking people who are being resurrected and just kind of having a big dance party. So I felt that was super nice. Very unique take on it for sure. And then we have the World, and that will comprise all 22 cards of the major arcana. And then from here we go into the Suit of Wands. So this is our Ace of Wands. And from here we have our Two of Wands. Then we go into our Three of Wands, Four of Wands, Five of Wands, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands, Eight of Wands, which I loved her just kind of riding the wands, which is so cute. Then you have the Nine of Wands. I really like this one a lot. This one hits home in the way that it is being depicted. 10 of Wands, which is a nice take on it as well. Then we have the Page of Wands. We have our Knight of Wands. We have our Queen of Wands, of course, very beautiful, very regal. And then we have our King of Wands. So that's for our Suit of Wands. And then we jump into the Suit of Cups with the Ace of Cups. Then we have the Two of Cups, Three of Cups, Four of Cups, Five of Cups, Six of Cups, which I found this one a little bit interesting because it's a very different kind of depiction of things looking into the past, maybe regrets. I know we did a little bit of a card study. Well, at least I've done a card study on the Six of Cups before, and I found that very interesting too. Then we have Seven of Cups. So many choices. Eight of Cups. Then we have our Nine of Cups, which I found very, very suitable. We have our Ten of Cups. Our Page of Cups. We have our Knight of Cups. Then we have our Queen of Cups. And then we have our King of Cups. And this kind of wraps up our suit of cups for this deck. Then we jump into our Ace of Swords. We have our Two of Swords. Our Three of Swords, which I found this to be very, very uniquely depicted, considering it's usually crossing stabs of the heart and kind of letting the heart bleed, which is a completely different take on it as well. Then we have the Four of Swords. Then we have the Five of Swords. We have our Six of Swords. Then we have our Seven of Swords. We have our Eight of Swords. It looks really beautiful with that red dress in the middle of the snow. Our Nine of Swords. I love how it's the shadow coming in with the swords. I thought that was very uniquely interpreted. I love it. Then we have our Ten of Swords. And then to go into our courts, we have the Page of Swords. We have our Knight of Swords. We have our Queen of Swords. And then we have our King of Swords. And then for the last suit that we're going to be going over is going to be our Pentacles. So we have our Ace of Pentacles. Our Two of Pentacles, which I thought this was really cute because you have the two nets, but because of the infinity symbol in terms of the balance, I found that very genius to incorporate. Then you have the Three of Pentacles. You have the Four of Pentacles. Or Five of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Or Seven of Pentacles. Or Eight of Pentacles. I love how the pentacles are taking shapes of gears. So I thought that was very, very unique, and I love that. Then we have our Nine of Pentacles. Then we have our Ten of Pentacles. Then we have our Page of Pentacles. We have our Knight of Pentacles. We have our Queen of Pentacles. And then lastly, we have our King of Pentacles. Now, the thing that makes the limited edition deck a little bit unique is that it comes with some different artwork for some of the cards, like I mentioned earlier. One of those is the Moon card, so I'll put those two in side by side to compare. Where we have the Moon card, as I showed earlier, it was this woman where her head is essentially the moon itself. And so here we have a little bit of a different depiction of that. So where we have the moon, how it comes in the traditional deck of the standard deck, and then we have the one that comes in the limited edition, which is this artwork right here. So it's a little bit different. You still have the same dog, it's just a little girl. And then you have, yeah, so it's the clouds that are making the shape of whatever the, you know, whatever the shadow is trying to say, but it's depicted within the clouds. And then the moon itself is like the eye of the whole issue. So it's really unique and it's really fun to look at it. So you can kind of take your pick in terms of maybe which one vibes better with you, and then you can use them interchangeably within the deck itself. So I know that specifically I like this particular artwork a little bit more than this one, even though they're both really good. Just because I thought this was very, very clever, especially with what the moon is supposed to signify as well. At least personally for me. So that's why I really like that one a lot. And so that's the additional artwork that comes with the moon. And then we also have the additional artwork that comes in depicting the sun, which is the second card that's a little bit different that comes with this limited edition deck. Which we have the sun here is more like in a poster where it says Le Voyage de Travers l'Impossible, and it's supposed to be a film. So it's like the impossible journey. It's like traveling through the impossible journey. And where we have here instead with this second picture is kind of having the kids up on a tree enjoying time with the sun itself. So both of them are supposed to be depicting something happy, something very joyous. Um, but it's just really interesting to see how you have two different interpretations of the same card. For me, I like them both, so I may use these two interchangeably. But at least I just wanted to show the difference between the two, um, for what we have here going on. To kind of start wrapping things up, let me switch back. So from my conclusion is that I know that the limited edition deck is no longer available within the store. All 500 copies have been sold. But in terms of the actual deck, like this just has more of a smooth finish, while the limited edition has more of that rose bud feel to the card. The edgings, like I mentioned earlier, we have here more of a gold edge with limited edition, and with the center edition it's just more of a sleek black. The backs are different from what we see here, and so it was very hard for me to choose, so I had to splurge a little bit and I ended up getting both decks. I'm not sure if maybe down the road I may be liking one deck more than the other, but I know in particularly for trying to do streams, I'm probably gonna focus more on using this particular deck just because it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit more readable, and I don't know, it would just feel a lot nicer to kind of have a little bit more of a open view in terms of kind of how I have with this deck. But they're both really, really nice decks. I will include those links in the description below, and where you can go and get these decks if you want. Keep in mind that the card studio Toreka, they are in Poland, so it will take about 3 weeks for the cards to get to you. So I've waited around 3 weeks for these cards to come in the mail for me. But I think the wait has been completely worth it. And then the website itself are gonna have more decks that are coming out, and there's one particular deck that really stuck out to me. So I might be going back to their shop and maybe looking at other cards, or other decks that they're gonna be releasing in the near future that I might grow very interested in. And other than that, that's kind of it that I have here. So in conclusion, if you're kind of looking to branch out, if you want more of a different kind of artwork and style, where you like more of that Tim Burton feel to it, a little bit more not so serious, but you really understand and get the gist of what these cards are trying to tell you, then this can be a really good purchase for you. I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun kind of going and doing readings with these particular decks. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you are enjoying these different deck reviews. Be sure to let me know in the comments, and also for more tarot content, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'll be releasing more reviews within the upcoming weeks, and I hope that in the next time that we see each other, you stay fresh.